What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Tom Trips Out, and in this episode we're talking about why expats are choosing to move to Kampot more and more each year. My name's Tom, this is my trip out.
Well, hey everybody, come along with me. Take a trip to a place to find without sea. Meet people, eat food, see the joy they bring, and how much it costs to try new things. Well, come and watch me on the trip out. My name's Tom, this is my trip out.
So we're just past the Seahorse. You can kind of see it over there, and the downtown is just down this way. We're gonna walk towards downtown and talk about 5 or 6 reasons why Kampot's becoming the new hotspot for expats to move to and retire to. So it seems like every year more and more expats are moving here. But why? Well, I've been looking into it, and there are several reasons why this little riverside town has become quite a hotspot. So first point, the cost of living. Kampot is an incredibly affordable for cost of living compared to all Western countries, and even compared to Phnom Penh. You could rent a house, have fresh local meals, and still spend a fraction of what you would like living anywhere else in the world. Not to mention the views of this mountain. I never get used to it, never gets boring. And yeah, probably in the near future I'm going to make a whole dedicated video to cost of living, but just to give you a quick rundown, I live in a little bungalow house and it's $130 a month, and my utilities were only about $30, and that's it. So $160 altogether for where I live. And then cell phone is maybe only like $6 a month, and then you go out and sometimes you spend money when you're out on the weekends. So add it all together, I think it's around maybe $600 US is my whole budget in Kampot. And in Phnom Penh, it's more like 900, so it's a lot cheaper to live in Kampot. Also, just small things like tuk-tuk seem to be a little bit cheaper. Like you can go a little bit farther on $1. In Cambodia, you buy these big blue barrels for your drinking water. It usually costs, you keep returning the empty jug and you pay $1 and they give you a new one. And there's a deposit on the big jug. Here in Kampot, they're only 75 cents. So it's like little things, everything's just slightly one little notch cheaper here. Even for stuff like a little boat ride on the riverside, I think it's a little bit cheaper for the boat rides here on the riverside compared to Phnom Penh. And I've heard here they give you 2 beers, and in Phnom Penh they give you 1 beer on the ride. So a little more bang for your buck out here in Kampot. The second reason why a lot of expats are choosing Kampot over the bigger cities is the relaxed, like riverside vibe and attitude. And I kind of touched on that in the last section, but you don't really get this laid back, chilling by the river, by the mountains. There's no big city stress here, just local colonial buildings and riverside cafes and no stress. It seems like people like to move here or come here to slow down and just, really enjoy life, just a slower pace. So the next reason, there's a strong network here of expats, and the community is growing and growing. Kampot has a surprisingly strong international crowd. Retirees, entrepreneurs, digital nomads, all mixing together. That makes it easy to make friends or find events, and you feel at home pretty quickly. And it has the small town community feeling, like I said, so the longer that you're here, it's like everyone knows everyone, when you go out. I can go out alone and there's a really high chance I'll know half the people that are there, or I've met them before here, because in a small town like this, everyone starts to know everyone and you bump into each other everywhere. And a lot of the expats here, they start to organize groups like running or walking clubs. There's open mics around the cities for musicians to network and meet each other and maybe form bands and stuff like that. I've seen language exchange meetups, so like a cafe or restaurant will reserve some tables and people can come and practice English or Khmer or back and forth. So whatever you're into, there's usually someone has started a club. I've seen like soccer and football or badminton clubs. There's all kinds of things here, so it can be an enjoyable life in Kampot for expats. So I've got a couple more reasons to go over, but we'll cross the street over here past the bridge, and it's where they're building the beach. And if you saw about a month ago, I made a video about how they're building it, so now we can see if there's any progress since then as I walk by and tell you the next few reasons. So it looks like a lot more of the ground is finished here. The concrete tiles are more laid down, and this was all dirt before. So the fourth point I wanted to talk about is in Kampot, you know, relative to Phnom Penh especially, there's way more access to nature and outdoor activities, not to mention the beach right here. For example, there's kayaking, you could do jet skiing, you can go to caves, you can go on top of a mountain, you can go and visit waterfalls. There's salt fields and pepper farms. And then there's a small town called Kep close by, as well as Kampot's located very close to the coast, so you can do small trips to the Korong Islands as well. So you have access to way more activities involving nature, you know, compared to you're just constantly in a whirlwind of stinky, loud, noisy traffic and busy chaos in the city. In my beach video, they were only halfway with these tiles, like halfway along. They started all the way at the end and they were only halfway, but now they've pretty much done all the way to the end, but there's this middle part missing. So that's probably for a reason. So yeah, the last point I wanted to go over is like opportunities for business and work, because it's such a developing new place. It's a good place if you wanted to have your own small business to start out, because the rents and the costs are very low right now. It could make it less of a struggle for a new business to get growing, you know, compared to starting it in Phnom Penh or something. Some expats open guest houses, restaurants, or small businesses here. Others just work online and love the low costs. Kampot is developing, so it's an exciting place if you've got an entrepreneurial side to you. So yeah, that's it. I've covered all the big reasons why expats are choosing to move to Kampot. You know, it's not for everyone, but for many, it's the perfect mix of all those things together. Let me know in the comments, would Kampot be somewhere where you would want to, you know, move to or maybe retire to? And that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. And until next time, remember, how you spend your days is the way you spend your life. Never too late to start tripping out.
My name's Tom.